Welcome to Gary's Grow Your Own Food. Today we're going to go take a walk through the container garden up in the front yard and look at different fruit trees and tomato plants and things that are growing. First thing we're going to look at is the dwarf tomatoes. Now on March 4th these tomatoes were about this tall, and that's when I planted them in the deal. You can go back and look at the video. This one here is a Tasmanian chocolate, and it's looking good. It's fixing to get some blooms on it. They're really starting to grow for being French tie-dye. And this here is, it's got a little bit of dirt on it, is Kookaburra cackle. And this is the Sweet Sue. It's a yellow tomato. And I got one more I'll show you here in a minute. I don't know which one it is. It came back as a volunteer. This is the carrots. We've been harvesting some of the carrots out of here. They're doing good. Are they getting bigger?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the lime tree that just really don't ever do a whole lot. It blooms, and that's about it. But anyway, this here is a Jiu-Jitsu sweet lemonade tree. It's growing. It's really starting to put on here like 3 leaves earlier, and now it's starting to branch out and grow. This is one of the blood oranges. We cut off the deal, and I look at it every time. One of these days, I'm going to look at which one it is. It's a Saragini. Anyway, the loquat tree. Bad thing about it, those fruits have split. We had a lot of rain, so we're going to wait and see. But I got a feeling they're going to turn off. But these two are going to turn bad, so hopefully the others will make. But it is looking good. So, and I did want to show. We're going to be looking at the peach trees and things. And this is the peach that I, thinned today, and how many there is of them. When you got peach trees and any of your stone fruits, you got to do a lot of thinning if you have a good year, and this is a good year this year as far as making. So they're, just letting you know. Now the dwarf tomato here is a fuzzy wuzzy. It's already got blooms on it, and it's starting to do good. I do got some volunteer tomatoes there that I'm going to leave there. I think it's the coyote, or should be the coyote. These are the micro tomatoes, micro dwarf tomatoes, and this has got a little tomato right there. And this has got pretty good size one right there. So they're doing good. This here, it's the lychee tree. It did not bloom this year, but it's putting on some growth. So hopefully next year it will help pollinate the other lychee tree that I have. Over there are some of the plum trees that I've got. Then the other oranges and things I've got. This one here is a Sure, it's basically the Sumo Mandarin. This here's Valencia orange, and it's even going to put on a little bloom, and it might put on an orange. Now, if it puts on an orange and puts on a good side, this is not going to support the orange, so you'd have to pull it off. I'm just going to see what happens. Should I pull those off? You kind of want to wait until they actually put the fruit on it, because if you pop off the blooms, they're going to put another bloom back on it. So just kind of let them do the course and pull them off later. But look how they're growing. I mean, these things are really coming out, growing like gangbusters. This is another one of the Shiranite. I have to look it up on YouTube to say it right. This is the pomelo. You do want to make sure you take these off before it gets too big, after it starts growing. This is the dwarf tomato that came up from seed. It's putting on some of the fruit. Hopefully, it won't get the moss min rot on it. I probably should put some of that calcium in it. These are the tomato plants that were left over, and they're still growing. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing with those. Over here, we have the mandarins that are starting to put on the blooms and looking good. Got another growth spurt just starting right there. And this has put on more of the blooms. This one here is tropic snow peach tree. I did thin it, and even this here, you have to be careful because Because when you look at it, you think, well, that's great, you got a bunch of fruit, but there's no way that when these things get bigger, that this tree can support all those fruit trees. And I'm going to leave one just in case you have something happen, but you know, and if you have a choice, you don't, when you have them growing together like that, you want to take one of them off and hope you don't knock the other one off. Because that's a place for them to rub or to stay wet, and that's where you're going to get some of the brown rot. It's going to make both of them rot. And so I still got more to pull off of these, even though you've seen all that I pulled off earlier today. I know one guy that he would actually, about once a week, he'd go out there and thin all of his fruit trees, because it's too hard to thin at one time. You just don't trust yourself to think you get too much. I did even hear one guy, he had a hand that he never would thin a peach tree enough, and it was a full-grown peach tree. Finally, he told the hands, go out there and thin every peach off that tree. So he did. He said, just leave it alone. He said, about a month later, they look at it, and he missed enough that he actually thinned about right. He says, you got to thin hard because you'll miss those fruits the first time you look at it, and you'll have something that's touching. Got a lot of that going on in the big orchard. We're not going to do that today. I just don't have time to do a video on it. But I spent almost all morning spraying and thinning the fruit. Then another one of the mandarins. One thing you have to watch out in Texas, just looking at this. See how this looks right there? Fire ants. And they love to get in the pots. If you look down here, here's where they're getting into the pot right there. I will put poison on the outside so you don't get poison in the fruit deal. So that'll be okay. There's the Meyer lemons and all the different wasps and bees that are hitting it. And you know, they were in that big bumblebee there, and we'll leave those alone. And then you also have the pomelos, the Chandler pomelo there, and another one here, all kinds of blooms. They will drop most of the blooms, as you can see down here at the bottom, but they'll make enough to produce as much as we need. Come up over here, and I just moved this tree out. This is the older lychee tree, and here's the blooms on it. And like I said, I wish the other one had bloomed too, so we get some cross-pollination going on, but we'll see how many they make. Sometimes they'll make even when they don't pollinate, but most of them will fall off. You'll get the occasional one that, it won't have any seeds on it, so it didn't pollinate. Even right here, you see some more coming out right there. Can you get in that? So we're going to have some, and everything else goes there. Some on the other side is be too hard to get to. So it's doing well. Our figs are starting to come out. Here's our the one that I think this here's Primark Freedom, and I know what that one is. Words are hard sometimes. But anyway, look back at the past video, I'll tell you what it is. This here's a nectarine tree. Nectarines don't do real good around here because you got that nice smooth skin, and that way the bugs can hit it hard. It also, that skin will stay wet, and if you have fuzz on a peach, when it gets wet, the wetness stays on the outside of the fuzz, and sometimes you don't get the brown rot. But with this, it's right against the skin. So, but it's got a lot of fruit on it. I have noticed a lot of the fruits this year are fused together like that one there. So you can't really pull that one out without pulling the whole thing off. We're also getting a little bit of splitting on that one. This isn't good. But like I say, nectarines are hard up here. But we'll keep trying. But it seems to be what I do sometimes. All the greens are starting to, and I leave them there because look at all the bees on it. And our neighbor does have some honeybees, so we give them something to eat. The Jiu-Jitsu tree that was not doing, the lemonade tree that was not doing as well, it is starting to flush out and doing better, so that's good. We've got the broccoli and cauliflower growing over there that's went ahead and started doing well. The other lychee tree, loquat tree over there that's got I think one loquat on it, but it shouldn't have just stayed out in the winter the whole time, and then later I put it in the pot. This tree is the apium tree, Trilite apium, and I've not seen any fruit on it. which is
There's
there's one. Kind of disappointing. And this second year it's kind of done that, so I'll give it one more year, and if not, I mean, there's no use wasting space if it's not going to produce fruit. The fruit is extremely sweet. In fact, a little bit too sweet for me. Yeah, we got what, 2?
Yeah.
So,
What else you?
all the rest of them I'm having to thin like crazy trying to keep them from overproducing. My oldest son's down, so I'm going to close it. And this is a Tropic Beauty, I think. It's your Tropic Beauty, Tropic Snow. One's a yellow peach, one's a white peach, so whenever you pick them, you'll know the difference in them. And like I say, I'll thin these fairly hard. One like this, I'll leave. And probably these 2 are going to come off before it's all said, because what you have to look at, can that branch support peaches that are this big around? 3 of them, and not likely. This one's kind of confusing because I got those 2 there, and I like to be able to pull those off, but they're closer to the main trunk, so they have more support than this one will. And this has got a couple of spots on it. But what you'll see also is look how many's up there on the top, and these are all kind of like that. So there's just a bunch of fruit on it, and the reason you pick them off, first off, you get these little bitty peaches, but second off, they'll break the branches, and they can break them even when the wind's not blowing. So that's just something you have to go through. This here is the Roddenberry peach. And it's a peach that actually it comes back from the seed, so you can take a seed, plant it, and it should come back as a Roddenberry, kind of like your open pollinated. It's an open pollinated peach tree, and hasn't produced the best of peaches, but this year it bloomed out really well. It does have several peaches on it, so I'm gonna try to work on it good. And then we got an Oli. Can you see it? Right there.
Got me that pencil.
And then here's the other. Here is the Flat Wonder peach. Anyway, it's the one that's like the flying saucer, like a donut peach. And I don't pull these off. Now that one I probably should, but I don't thin them out that much because they will produce, and they just produce. This one produces a little small one, so you know it's not going to produce a lot of weight to it, so it's not going to hurt anything. The lemongrass. I think that's some lemongrass. Yeah, that's some lemongrass coming back here. This here is the elephant garlic that jumped in there, and I've even got milk and all with spinach. That's one of them came up in there. So several things going on in that pot. Still have not potted up this in here. So and it's not looking real healthy because I put that water in it had wood ash in it. The blueberries. Kind of small, hopefully they'll get bigger. This one here, some of it's getting close to being ready. They're not. And one way you tell if a blueberry's ready is you want to kind of tug on them. And if they come off, you don't want to pull on very hard because when they're ready, they'll pull off real easy. I know these because they don't have the dark blueberry on it yet, but they're getting close. And like I said before, this is kind of weird. It's O'Neill. It puts on a lot of berries and not a whole lot of leaves, and then they'll put on leaves afterwards. And I don't, as far as sweetness, sometimes you kind of wonder if they're going to be sweet. They've been decent berries, so, but I always get concerned about that. This is Sweet Crisp here. It's probably the best tasting of the blueberries, of the southern blueberries, and this is Southern High Bush. Got a fair amount on it. You know, I'm not, you know, nothing wrong with that. If I get that every year, I'd be happy. And that's what you'd expect. This one here is about 10 to 12 years old. It was one of the first fruit plants that I grew. They had to go through the Hurricane Harvey where we had 8.5 feet of water in the house, and these were a little bit lower than the house. And they stayed underwater for probably 5 days, and yet they survived. This one here is Snow Chaser. It's struggled for the last few years. It doesn't like the pot that it's in for whatever reason. It was in a fabric pot, and I transferred it, and it just never has really taken off since I've transplanted it. But you know, it's still producing some fruit. So you know, if you produce some fruit, I keep giving them more chances. It's another of the Sweet Crisp. So we'll have to do it. And this one actually is a one of these is supposed to be pink lemonade. And this one here's a pink lemonade. Okay, so it'd be a pink blueberry. And this one is a climax, and it's a rabbit eye, so it's different variety. And you have to be careful because rabbit eyes and high bush tend not to cross-pollinate. Here we got the row of figs, and they're really starting to grow and showing good vigor to them. I've got way too many, especially if like that. You know, one son really likes them. They're okay, but I'm not one of the big addicts like some people are. And but he is. And when he's here, he'll come down and get them. You'll notice this one is dead. If you're wondering why, it's because it's no longer alive. In other words, I have no idea. It looks like the St. Rita's going to die on me too. So I'm just dying. I ain't really figured out quite why. Not real heartbroken. Well, I kind of am St. Rita because it was a good one. That one never made very well. But the others are going good and looking nice. Some of them have just died back. This is probably freeze damage here because it got cold. I didn't bring them in, but it made it. Worry about these stupid little tags like this because you see they get faded. You don't know what it is. There's probably another tag in here somewhere that's a metal tag. But that was one thing I would caution you on, is don't depend upon those plastic tags because those plastic tags will fade out and then you know what the variety is. This one here is green Ishua, and it has some winter damage. One thing I like about it is easy to root cut this one. So if you want one for root cutting, this one does a real easy job of it. Every time I put one in, almost every one of them makes. And then this is the other gold nugget loquat tree, and most of the fruit of it died off. I thought there was a couple, but anyway, we have tasted it before, and it's okay. It's not as good as the Barbie. And the last one is Tropic Beauty. So that's Tropic Snow over there. This is Tropic Beauty. It is a really good tasting fruit. We really liked it. And let's see, you can see one there. You got this tree bending way over. If you ain't careful, you'll break that limb. But this is the Barbie loquat. I got from Top Tropicals. And like I say, we got down to 15 degrees, and they shouldn't have any fruit on them. But they got some. Got a fair amount. I mean, you know, it's not a bumper crop by any means, but it's enough to taste and see how they're doing. So, you know, if they do this every year at least, I wouldn't be disappointed. But this has been the first year since the first year that it. You know, we had 1 year that it cropped. I think we had like 4 that it didn't because it just got too cold. But anyway, they're doing good. And I guess the next to last one is this is the no tropic snow that made just above the stock. And what's bad, they all made right here. And what you got to think about, if I leave all of these on here, you can have a big old weight here, and it's going to end up trying to break that branch. So I'm not taking them off today because we've got a stupid squirrel around. And then this is pomegranate. It's really looking pretty and doing well, and they do bloom later. And it's the one against the pea. It's the Russian one, paraffin or something. And I guess the absolute last one is the Cherry of the Rio Grande seed that came in. And it's starting to put in some growth, and I just noticed it and kind of it survived the winter too. So Cherry of the Rio Grande is really dry, is really frost tolerant. I mean, like I said, we got down to 15 degrees. That little one survived, and the big one has been left out even when we had Snowmageddon and the Christmas freeze and all the different freezes we've been having. And it's been set out there because I didn't want to bring it inside. It just took up too much room, and it has made it too. So I will say your fig trees, like you try to do a lime tree, you've got to bring them in. They freeze every year almost. Really, the key lime supposed to 32 degrees, supposed to kill it. So, you know, there is some winter hardy tropicals like Cherry of the Rio Grande, the Jiu-Jitsu. I know one Brooke and for seed to plate channel. She had one that was a root cutting, and it's coming back, and it didn't get a whole lot of protection, and it's you know, it lost all its leaves, but it's putting out new shoots. So, you know, if you're in this new 9A area and you want citrus, the one I would actually recommend would be that lemonade tree, the Jiu-Jitsu, because it seems like it can take, for me, the most of the cold. The rest of them I've had to protect and stuff like that, which I knew I was going to have to. But that one has, for me, has been able to handle it even without very much protection. But anyway, not to ramble on, thanks for watching, and see you next time.